Alrighty, for the start of this one, this is how I'm going to be rocking these out. I'm just going to give you a look around here. It's actually become one of my prime spots just up here on the balcony, taking in the city while I wait for people to get on. If you're watching the recording, taking the view, it's pretty cool. It's a nice night. There's a bit of a breeze, so when people jump on, I'll get you to keep me accountable for this one. This one is going to be a cracker. Anger. I'll leave that sit for you guys watching the recording, everyone jumping on. That word, anger. Taking the view, throw some comments in there. Throw some comments. The comments are not coming up, which is just awesome. Liam, how are you, brother? Anyone else jumping on, say something. I'm not going to start this one because this one's high interaction. I've already spoken to a lot of people about bringing this one to you. I've been holding off because this topic, if you would call it, this negative emotion, if you want to give it that label, it doesn't serve you. It really doesn't. But it's been at the core of a lot of what I've done work on, personal work on. It's really been the first thing that I went to when I started this journey, because it was the thing that pissed me off the most. I was angry about my anger. Dave, how are you, man? Everyone who jumps on, Marty, legend, man. We should catch up, man, if you're on the coast. I'm down here for a few more days. Like I say, I'm going to roll this out in a minute. I'm just waiting for a couple of others that have messaged me to jump on. Vic, how are you, brother? Awesome that you're on here, man. Interact. Everyone who you're getting on my live feed, interaction, straight on there. There's a big difference and confusion between assertion and anger. Oh, it depends what label you put on it. GG, have I said that right? Yeah, GG. Awesome that you're on. There's no confusion from where I'm going to come from now, from how I'm going to present this now, how I'm going to talk about it now. It's anger. There's the word. Simple as that. Anger. My past, my journey, but more importantly, my present now and where I'm going. All related about this key word, anger, how it affected me in the past, how it affects me now, because now, in the present, how it affects me is I'm aware of what's the difference between anger. There's no confusion. A lot of people do get confused, so that's a good point there, Gigi, but back in my past, when I got into this, one of the key things when I knew I could work on something and release something, and I heard I could work on my anger, that hit a button with me. That was like, holy shit. I thought I was born this way. I thought I was angry because my dad was angry. It had a bit to do with it, but that was my thing. That was my, like, what would you say? If you had a bag of tricks and something come up and you had to deal with something, a situation, anger was my go-to one. That was my go-to every time. I would come in and I'd build up a very, very, I'm not going to say good reputation, a reputation about the angry one. Don't mess with me in a situation. Don't get into conflict with this guy because he's just going to be angry, and that's how I went. I played that card all the time. Like I say, that was my go-to emotion. That was anything that come up that I did not like, I was uncomfortable. My first reaction was like, I'm just going to come at it. And when I found out, when I was looking into joining Team Beast Mode, when I was looking into personal development, what's it all about? When the word anger come up, I'm like, could this be for real? Could this be exactly at the core of what I'm looking for? I've spoken about it a lot in my story. I've put it out there a lot, anger, but I've never really gone into detail about that time when I thought, well, if I can work on my anger, if this is really, really for real, that I can go back and find out why this started, and it's not hereditary, and it's not like something I have to deal with for the rest of my life. That was a massive light bulb for me. That was huge because it affected so many of my decisions. It affected so many interactions. It affected every interaction, I would say, because if I didn't lose my shit, it was in here. It was building up in here, and it was always there. My blood would boil. There's so many instances where I can give, and so many people I talk to now, especially leading into Team Beast Mode, to our retreats, to our services, that the key word, anger, comes up. Breakups, at work, dealing with other people. holding themselves back because they're afraid they're going to lose it, going to court, coming out of prison. Anger, angry at what? That was the thing I never questioned. Like I say, I don't know how many of you guys out there have had to deal with this, or you're dealing with it now. When something doesn't go your way, the first card you pull out, anger. Exactly, GG, spot on. I'm going to get to everyone just for a second. Say hi, how are you, Louise? Anyone who's not commenting on there, please comment. Get amongst it. Justin, I see you there, man. Sammy, all the way over in NZ, how are you? Tracy, great chat today. And everyone else who's on there, awesome that you're on. Awesome. Ads Mac, you're going to love this one. Man, this is like, you'll be all over this. But when I talk to a lot of people now and I hear when they come up with this, like, I got into a fight because this person did this and this and this and I just got angry and I sorted it. Or, yeah, in my work, yeah, I lead like this and I tell them what to do and I go, and it's from a place of anger and negative energy. That's how I used to operate. Like I say, I used to use that all the time. I used to use it to my advantage a lot. But in the end, it was not good energy. It was shit energy. It got some result because I was more directing it towards others. But at the end of the day, it wasn't moving me forward. It wasn't helping me because it was coming from a place of, like, you could just about say self-hatred. Because I thought, well, this is how I am. I've just got to utilize this. I wasn't happy with myself. If I got into a confrontation or something and my anger came out to deal with it, or I lost my patience, or like, stuff this, and I'd do it. I'd come out and say, fuck you, this is how it is. And it'd be just full anger. And I'd nearly blow my fucking lid. Like, it was no good. I'd walk away feeling like depressed and unhappy with myself because that's how I used to operate all the time. So many people, so many. Like I say, I can give you so many examples across my life where that there has influenced my decisions. It's influenced so many of my decisions. Be it when I was like at work, like I say, and I worked a lot when I worked away. But even when I used to go out, I always used to go out and like, I'm on a mission. I am angry. If someone crosses my path, if someone says something, there's my card. Bang, anger, fuck you. That's what it was. So when that light bulb went off, I'm like, I can work on this. I can find out why I'm like this. I can go back to it to deal with it and get rid of it. That was like, if this is for real, boom. I talk about building belief in something you haven't done before. A lot of people will hold back. They will hold back when they haven't got a result. So if you talk about them, hey, if you do this, if you follow this process, you're not gonna be angry anymore. Yeah, you can get frustrated and that, and things don't go your way. But you're not going to deal that card to deal with it and feel like shit afterwards and hate yourself for like affecting someone else or going and pissing someone off or breaking a friendship or losing a relationship or losing your job or whatever happens. That's real. But I didn't have that result. I'm like, if this could be too good to be true, and that's what I thought. But at the time, I was just so sick of it. I was just so sick of always coming up with that. Like, I'd go away and like do the things I love, like camping or fishing. I would yell at the fucking wind. Full anger. What was I angry at? I remember an instance, and I use this example a lot. It was like an ex-girlfriend and we were dealing through stuff. We'd had a massive fight. I was sitting there, like we were just having a good chat. It was cool. My sunnies dropped off my head. I lost my shit. Like, what? It was like this coming up inside. I just got angry. And how are ya? Passive aggression even more than overt anger in people. I don't like that hate word either. Gigi, we can mix that up. Terrible word. But I understand what you're saying. I'm going to go back up here. Brooke, awesome that you're on. The power to control your reaction. I think we need to influence something in the workplaces. That's where so much anger comes out of people and it seriously drags everyone's energy down. And so many facets of life. If you guys have caught a lot of my live feeds lately where I've been talking about the FIFO life and the mining industry and working away, because that's where a lot of my history is. I spent like nearly 7 years there and doing that. In the workplace, implementing it, the way I see it, working on this on a social level and individual level, where individuals work on this, work on their mindset, I see that as more powerful. Way more powerful. Because if you can... and in the workplace, and I'll use the mining game again, or even work sites like I used to work in Melbourne when I had a big drainage crew and all that sort of stuff. if you implement something in a workplace where people are happy, they've got their guard up. A lot of people will go in there like, oh, here we go, another one of these things that work wants us to do. But if someone wants to change something for themselves personally, and they go into it, and they work on themselves and something with anger, and they take that to the workplace, they understand cause and effect, they understand that, they become, well, they condition themselves to deal with situations better. That's more powerful. That will in turn, if people are in situations at work and something happens, you've got someone who's working on their mindset, something goes down at work, someone else is like, blah, 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 and the person can handle it, that's going to create some sort of ripple effect. Because to me, that's what I never had. The workplace, I would go in there, I would own that shit, I would come in and be angry and no one mess with me. If someone didn't like what I was saying, so be it. But I'd never thought about how that affected the other people. I had a solid mindset on getting a job done in my way or the highway. That was my thing. And it always come from a place of aggression. Lead with punishment. That's what I did. You can lead that way, but it doesn't serve the other people a lot of the time. But the workplace is definitely something, like I say, the FIFO, the mining game and all that. I'm still working on stuff behind the scenes, talking to a lot of people about working individually, about implementing things about how they work on their mindset. Make a huge difference. Ant Legend. Yeah, I was talking to Alvy. I got a call after Ant. Awesome that you called. I hope he was pushing the retreats with you, brother. But it's good. But here's the thing, guys. Back to it. When I realised I didn't have the result of letting go of my anger, I still didn't. I didn't fully believe it. I had to trust. I had to trust, like Lee, my coach. I had to trust the process. I had to trust to say, yeah, you can work on this if you believe. If you play full out. What playing full out is, you go in open-minded. You go in there and you're like, I want to change so bloody much that I will do whatever it takes to do this. And anger for me was the one single biggest thing that affected so much of my life. It just, I'm not going to say it ruined, because the past is a past, but it stopped me and held me back. I could never understand how to deal with it. I couldn't. What I do, and this is how I dealt with it, and I know this will resonate with a lot of people. The way I dealt with it, I'd still lose my shit. Or I'd just walk away and I'd go punch a wall. Or if I was out in the bush, I'd like go and punch the door of my ute or slam the door of my ute. I'd hammer off. I'd just drive off instead of having a confrontation. That was my release. That was still no good. Or what I used to do, and I talk to a lot of people, and this is where I get it from. I can tell a lot of my story, guys. I can use so many hundreds of examples of anger. But talking to a lot of people, especially lately, that they come to me and they're like, oh, anger, I had a fight with me missus, I had a fight with my partner, and blah, 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 but I went to the gym and I just like took it out in the gym. That used to be me as well. I used to go into the gym and I used to train with all that aggressive energy and wonder why I couldn't get the results that I was after. It was a good release. It was okay. It was better than having confrontations. It was better than like punching stuff and all that, but it still was not good because it was still there. That's not a release. That's like anchoring it in, because then I anchored it into, I need to go to the gym to release my anger. No good. But that's the thing. I was questioning this for so long. I used to tell the story all the time. I'm angry, I'll deal with it this way because it's worked in the past. I'm angry. I was like conditioned to deal with it with anger. You can put whatever other label on it, but that's how I was. And the more people I talk to now, leading into, like I say, beast mode, especially beast mode, a lot of men do this. They do. And what I want to say is, you can work on this. It's as simple as that. It's not bullshit. You can work on this. At the time, I didn't think it was bullshit, but I didn't fully believe it. Because there was not many instances where I could handle myself well. If it didn't come out in a confrontation, it imploded. It imploded. And then I'd get so down on myself that I'd go and hide. And it was all interlinked. Like I say, when I worked away, so many nights I'd go back to my room and I'd be so upset with myself, and like it turned into a lot of self-hate. And that's what turned into my low confidence and my low self-worth. It was all interlinked. So many confrontations. If any of the guys were on here that I used to work with, they would say, holy shit. And they actually got used to it, and they could deal with it. It actually made them some pretty like tough guys. They took a lot from me and they dealt from it. But it was still not the right way to operate. But when it come to it, and I got into, like I say, the personal development, the one core thing, yeah, I wanted to build my confidence, absolutely. I wanted to be able to talk up and speak my mind and express myself. But the main thing that held me back was this blood boiling up inside. That was the main thing that held me back. It was always there. Always. And then at some sort of outlet, my outlet turned into inlet, implode. And that was worse. But the more I asked questions, and like I say, I started personal development with Team Beast Mode, the more I apply myself, and I got to the retreat, the one key thing I wanted to work on in the retreat was this anger. I still didn't have the belief. I still didn't have it, but I had to trust the process. I had so many wins in my life up to then, like in my own personal growth with my confidence. But the one thing I still had was that blood boiling up inside. I'm like, what is it? It was getting to the root cause. And as soon as I had that first breakthrough on like the first afternoon of the retreat, then it just fell away. It was like this massive weight, and it was a simple thing. It was no special technique. It was not under NLP or nothing like that. Yes, it had a lot to do with it, but it was a simple thing like with board breaking. A lot of you guys have seen the board breaking. And I talk about when I used to go to the gym to release a negative emotion, I used to go punch a wall. I used to go punch my car door at work. I used to get in a fight, simple as that. I remember one instance where I punched my brother in his hard hat. That didn't solve the situation. But when I went to the retreat and there was the energy board breaking, you meant to break it like that. It's meant to be like that, bang like that, and you sort of break it with there. But it's all about getting out of your head and into your heart. Very, very powerful, and remember that too, because that's at the core of what I'm bringing to you after. But it was about that. At the time, I didn't understand it. Now I'm just like, boom, I'd go change. I didn't even know I was doing this. I'm like, boom, like that. And that was all anger. And I remember Lee, and I remember this clear as this was a massive, massive turning point in what I'm talking about now. My realization about how I used to work with anger and not deal with it properly. But I did that, and I'm like, bring it on. My ego was doing all the talking. I just pulverized this board. Bring it on, double the board up. Definitely coming from a place of ego. I'm like, I can do this. That was easy. But I didn't even realize I was doing that. Like, I was doing that. Didn't hurt. And then I pushed it, and I couldn't do it. And then I couldn't do it. And I don't know if it was 8 or 10 times that I was going. I had tears running around my eyes. My wrist was all swollen. My arm was all swollen. And I was just like, what is wrong with me? I had so much shit going on in my head then. I had so much stuff coming on, and it was like, Lee, get out of your head and your heart. But a lot of people can't do this, guys. This is why you work on this stuff. This is why I concentrate so much on working on getting out of the scatter that we've got in the world, getting out of being caught of the effect of things. Work on it. Get out of your head and your heart. At the time, no idea. But the thing that happened, had a superstar, Hitesh. I can't even pronounce his last name. I'm in contact with him a lot. Superstar, cerebral palsy, man, better than normal superstar. He is fantastic. But you would say at the time, I didn't understand him. Here he was. He wasn't as able as me, and that's what we'll put on this. Wasn't as able. And watching him go one board after that and go. Here I was with a swollen arm, like my ego was shot. I was embarrassed. I felt like shit. It was like, for me, that was full on. It was. But to watch him keep going and watch him keep going and watch him keep going, because he wasn't up here and he wanted and smash that killed me. I did not sleep that night. I did not sleep. Here I was putting on this facade, hiding over, no, not anger, no. Even though at the core, that's what I wanted to release and work on. I got up the next morning and we had an exercise where we had to talk about the first day of that, and I just broke down. And the guys couldn't believe it because I was like confident. It was a facade. I broke down, and from that point on, I just had this belief. I'm like, holy shit, that was just like a self-realization that it doesn't work. The anger doesn't serve me. And from then, I'm like, well, as soon as I realized that I knew it didn't serve me, but I felt it. I felt the fact that right then, I'm like, holy shit. If someone else can do it like that, and he pushed and pushed, and here I was coming in this space, that was huge for me. And from there on, through the retreat, everything I went to, focus on your problem. My problem is anger. Focus on it. Where was it? Where did it start? Where did it go? Why did this happen? I was always going back to the start. I never used to do that. I used to think all of my instances in my teens and through my 20s where I used to punch on all the time. No. It was when I was younger. Like when you're younger, so many things affect us and we don't realise it until you start this personal development. Because we put it away. There's so much other scatter going on. But when you can, like I say, when you can go on this journey of personal growth or discovery and really tap into it, yes, there's some techniques you use, absolutely. You get guided brilliantly, like I say, by Lee Bundy, coaches, mentors, and it doesn't have to be in Team Beast Mode, guys. Anyone who's undertaken this, getting to the root of it, the root cause of where this come from, and that was for me. But the thing that started it was the self-realization. I realized that I was using ego. I realized that I was caught up in this bullshit. Worried about what other people think if I couldn't do something. I was telling myself the story, yeah, you're right, you do this, you use anger, it benefits you, and I couldn't. And from then on, after the retreat, I was a scattered mess. I'd love you to go back and check out some of the stuff from after the retreat. I know Mr. Lee Lynch is on here, and I was like, because I played so full out because I wanted the result so bad that I just went there every time. I'm like, this is what I've got to work on. I know this is affecting me so much now. I know I've got nothing to fucking hide. Yeah, exactly, Lee Lynch. You seen that video? I'm like, I was in the swim pool, I'd keep that camera away from me. I'd be bawling my eyes out. This is the thing too. All you men out there, and I talked about the other night, it's okay to cry as a release. It's fucking okay. That was huge for me because I used to hide that shit away. Now I'm pretty sure I've been rocking out a few tears on a few live streams lately. Good luck in it tonight, but I'm in the zone. But so many people don't understand this. So many people fall into the trap that they're angry. They utilize it. They stay in that anger. They'll talk about it. I go by the interactions I have on calls with people I meet. Why? What do you want to work on? Well, I want to improve my life. I'm not happy. I'm like not going the best. People are annoying me. This dickhead did this happened in my life. Problem. But they get to it and I'm like, yeah, well, I had a fight. I had to deal with it. Well, I just got angry and I went away and I stormed off and all this. I'm like, why are you getting angry? Does that serve you? I'm always like that. That's how my dad was. That's how it was. I've always been like it since a kid. You can't do it. Bullshit, guys. I call bullshit. I'd love to get some actual examples on here, guys. Anyone. Because everyone's still got their anger problems. I talk to a lot of people. Your release is a boxing bag, Tracy. Your release will be getting outside your comfort zone. That's going to be huge. Who else is hiding on here? Come on now. Interaction. Heart-centered strength. Absolutely. It's the ultimate energy. And I spoke the other night when I just came out and I really just spoke from the heart the whole way. I always talk from the heart now. Unless I am scattered and I'm making decisions and speaking from my emotions. That's scatter. Once you realize no one is judging you, you drop the ego, get in your heart, and shit starts to happen at a rapid rate. That's it. And in that environment, guys, environment's huge with this. A lot of us hold on to this and we use it as a facade and we keep ourselves in these problems with when things don't go right, we lose our shit. Because we don't want people around us to see us cave in, maybe to our partner or something like that, or around our friends. And it's a funny thing. We're brought up, like I say, with schools and environments and even sporting clubs and all that, where peer group pressure, being forced to do things and all that, that's just like conditions us in for life, unless you realise it, unless you work on it. And that's the anger thing for me was there. Like since I was a kid at school, and I remember this clear, I used that card all the time. When I was at school, I was like the little dude. I'd go angry, I'd go nuts, so they'd leave me alone and I'd feel better. So I conditioned that and that became a habit. Dropping the fear of failure was my massive one for the retreat. No failing myself, but failing my parents for everything they had done for me. And that was massive on the retreat. I'm always going to mention the retreats, guys, because not just for my journey, for men like Lee Lynch that have been through here, like we had a situation like there where I really pushed him on something. And I don't know if you've seen him, he's the ultimate professional. Very hard nut to crack, but I cracked him. And that's what it was. The fear of failure. Failure is just, there's no failure, it's not real. It's less, it's simple as that. That word's just like there. But having that awareness of my own journey, then to be able to pass it on to others, to be able to know when they have got anger problems or they have got something from their past, that's pretty powerful stuff too. And this is something, like I say, it's so common, and this is why I'm talking about it tonight. And this week, I'm rolling out a lot on this. It's not just going to be anger, because it's interlinked with a lot. Like I say, it holds people back from making decisions. It holds people back from approaching other people, from changing their direction in life. It holds them back. It keeps them stuck in a place where they may have to stay in a crowd because they're used to them like getting angry or something. They're like, that's okay, it's just him, that's what he does. Instead of doing something different. It keeps people in their work, in their jobs, because like I say, they feel protected, they feel safe. If they fly off the handle, their workmates are going to say, that's alright, he'll go, he'll work it out, he'll come back. This is from experience, guys, not from myself, dealing with a lot of people in the workplace too, where it affects a lot of us. A lot of us that get angry, like I say, being caught of the effect of things not going the way we want them. But this week I'm going to be rolling out, there's going to be live streams on this, but it's going to be leading to a webinar at the end of the week. Snack, grapple and pop. It's going to lead to a webinar at the end of the week, a free training webinar, where I'm going to take you straight to it. How do you get out of here into here? A lot of men don't understand this. A lot of men will be like, oh, what are you talking about? All this lovey-dovey stuff, this woo-woo, whatever. The woo-woo shit works, guys. It does. But I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to roll it out. And if this is something you need to work on, you know someone close to you needs to work on, right, I'm all in down the bottom. I'm all in. I'm going to roll this out all week. I'm going to send you a link. And especially, like I say, there's someone around you know. This affects so many people, so many relationships, so many workplaces. It affects so many men, especially, even women, but most of the men I talk to, this is the key thing that comes up. So, I'm all in down the bottom. Share it, tag people in it, because this is really, really important. This is where I know I can make a difference, especially from my own experiences. Boom, Lee Lynch, all in. That's what it's about too, guys. This will change people's lives at the core if you understand how to do this, how to get out of here, how to operate from here. Free training, it's going to be Friday night, and I do it on Friday night for a specific reason. A very specific reason. Because a lot of people, and especially the work week, it's like Monday to Friday, go to the pub, release, suppress, go away, separate from your workmates, where a lot of people have these problems. Like I say, go away. Go away from your family for a couple of days, suppress on a Friday. And the what thing you got to do if you want to break a pattern, and anger can become a pattern, it's conditioned, you've got to disrupt it. So why not disrupt people's weeks? Why not disrupt the end of the week leading into the week when people want to suppress this shit, when people want to hide from this, like I used to? Because even doing that, changing your routine from how you deal with instances through the week, by how you deal with being at the effect, by how you deal with releasing your anger, instead of escaping and suppressing, it's time to open up. Take a shot at it, something different. Have a bit of... That's Friday night. There's going to be plenty more coming this week. Like I say, I'm all in down the bottom. Share it, tag people. This is really, really important. It's a big part about what I bring to the table from, like I say, from my experience. Big part about everything I learn, everything from every bit of training we do in Team Beast Mode International, the TAR, the True Authentic Reality, because that's all about stepping into your true authentic reality as the best version of you, getting out of here into here. And this is me bringing it to you guys because it's so, so critical and important in today's society. If people knew how to do this, this is the start of a massive ripple effect. So thank you everyone. Have an amazing night. I appreciate your feedback and your interaction. I'm going to turn my phone off now because that's it. I've done enough. Talk to you soon.